Okay, for the lab on the sodium hydroxide and HCl, let's run through a few calculations that you'll need to know. For equation A, for part A, you took sodium hydroxide, you put it in water, you dissolved the sodium hydroxide. So this is the heat you found, is the heat for solution. Now how am I going to find how much heat is in that solution? Well, I can use Q equals MC delta T. This is how much the water was. We have 100 or 50 grams of water. You know, C is 4.18, and you found the change in temperature in degrees Celsius. So you'll put that in there. That'll give you the heat that was generated from dissolving it in joules. You'll have some number of joules. Now for delta H, that's in joules per 1 mole of NaOH. So we took, you had about 1 gram, you put your number in there of NaOH. Sodium hydroxide is 40 grams per mole. It'll give you so many moles. So I would turn this joules into kilojoules, divide that by however many moles of sodium hydroxide, it'll give you a number in kilojoules per mole for part A. So that's how we're doing part A. Q equals MC delta T. How much did the water heat up? 50 grams of water times its C times its change in temperature gives you the joules. And then you can do joules per mole of NaOH that I dissolved. That's part A. Part B. For part B, we took the already dissolved sodium hydroxide. So we had Na plus and OH minus, and we added hydrochloric acid to it. And we saw how much that temperature went up. So we had sodium, we had chloride, and we made water. The H from the HCl and the OH made water. So we heated up the water in part B from already dissolved sodium hydroxide to make that stuff. So how much did it heat up? Well, Q equals MC delta T. Put the total mass of all the water that was in there. So what did we have? 50 mils of HCl and 50 mils of sodium hydroxide, so that's 100 grams. We know C for water, and you measured its change in temperature. You can find Q in joules. You can turn that to kilojoules. And again, you know how many moles of NaOH that we dissolved? So you'll get kilojoules per mole as your answer. This is the same number of moles as part A. You just use that in part B. So this is the heat of, if you already have dissolved NaOH and you had HCl, how much do you get? Part C, here's what we did. In part C, we did two things. One, you put pellets or solid sodium hydroxide in there. So the sodium hydroxide had to dissolve. And we saw before how much heat that should have given off. Use the same amount of sodium hydroxide. That should give off the same amount of heat as part A. Then we took that, part 2 of that reaction, we added HCl. This is just like reaction B. So this is like reaction A. This is like reaction B. And we already saw how much heat that should give off. So part C for you should have been this amount of heat, the same as you got in A, plus this amount of heat, the same as you got in B. So we need to look at what's the total amount that we got in part C. Use Q equals MC delta T. How much water was in there altogether? Add it up. You know C, you know delta T, and find Q. We use the same number of moles of NaOH. So whenever you find out how many joules this is, change that to kilojoules. Divide by how many moles of NaOH. And you'll get delta H in kilojoules per mole. This should be A plus B added together should give you C. All right, now for your conclusion. So you do all those calculations. Show all those calculations. Maybe some sample data, data analysis, however you want to label it. Then in your notebook, write conclusion. And you should write a paragraph on what we talked about. Don't worry about any of this. Don't do those. What I want you to do is just say in a paragraph, well, part A, we found the heat of solution for sodium hydroxide, and it was this many kilojoules per mole. And then part B, we found the reaction of dissolved sodium hydroxide with HCl, and it was this kilojoules per mole. In part C, we did both of them together, and we found this kilojoules per mole. And I want you to see, does A plus B equal C? It should, but if not, you can say something like, well, here's why we think they didn't add up. We did something wrong. Maybe and just go into your discussion. Try to work around and just describe what you did for the NaC or for your experiment and see where you might have gone wrong. That's how you do it. Now I'm going to be looking for a paragraph here that shows insight that you understood what you did, like I just explained. I'm going to be looking at your procedures. Here's what you need in your procedure. Your data table filled in with the important parts. The amount of water you have, the amount of NaOH in your final calculations, the kilojoules per mole type stuff. And I'm also looking in the procedure that you wrote everything you did as you did it. I weighed out this many grams of stuff. So you should have like a couple of paragraphs, one at least for each A, B, and C, of things that you did. Write it all down, anything that went wrong, and I'm looking that you wrote stuff down as you did the lab. That's going to be for a lot of the points as well. So I'm hoping you can get all 20 points, and that kind of explains what to do in the lab. Okay, thanks.